Welcome, let's learn AWS in simple terms. Hi there, don't worry if you've never used AWS before. We're going to explain everything like you're 12 years old. Think of AWS like a giant apartment building with thousands of rooms, services. Today, we're learning about one specific thing, how to temporarily borrow someone else's keys to access their room. This is called AssumeRole, basically getting temporary permission to do things you normally can't do. It's like your friend giving you their house keys for the weekend while they're away. By the end of this, you'll understand exactly how this works, why it's important, and how to do it yourself. No technical background needed. Imagine AWS as a huge apartment building. Each apartment holds different things inside. For example, some have storage space, S3 buckets. Some have computers, EC2 instances, and some have databases, RDS. You have your own apartment in this building with your own key. This represents your AWS account with its access keys. But sometimes you might need to access your friend's apartment perhaps to get something or help them out. Instead of making copies of keys, which is like sharing permanent credentials, the building has a security office called STS in AWS. STS stands for the Security Token Service. This office can give you a temporary guest pass, which represents temporary credentials. So when I use the analogy of the building security office, that refers to the actual AWS STS service. And when I say temporary visitor pass, those are real temporary AWS credentials, complete with an expiration time. What is AssumeRole? Borrowing keys. AssumeRole is like temporarily becoming someone else for a short time. Imagine you're a substitute teacher for a day. You get the teacher's permissions, but only while you're substituting. Let's say your friend Sarah has an apartment, which is like an AWS account, with a safe, which is like an S3 bucket, full of important photos. She wants you to organize them while she's on vacation. Instead of giving you her permanent key, she tells the building's security, "Give my friend a temporary pass that lets them into my apartment and access my safe, but only for this week." That's exactly what the AWS STS AssumeRole command does. It gives you temporary credentials to access specific AWS resources in someone else's account, but only for a limited time. The role is like a job description that defines what you can do. Here's the simple version of what happens when you use AssumeRole. 1. First, you go to the building security office, which in this analogy is AWS STS, and request a temporary pass to Sarah's apartment. 2. Next, security checks their access list. Are you allowed to have access to Sarah's apartment? If Sarah put you on the list, great. 3. Third, security gives you a temporary visitor badge representing your temporary credentials. This badge works for a few hours. 4. Fourth, you use this badge to access Sarah's apartment and perform the action she authorized. 5. Finally, when the allowed time expires, the badge automatically stops working. There's no need to return it. Who can do what? The permission system. This is like having two different types of permission slips at school. The first permission slip, trust policy, says who can borrow the keys. Sarah makes a list. Only my friend Alex and my cousin Jamie can get temporary access to my apartment. In AWS, this is created with the AWS create role command and the trust policy JSON document. The second permission slip, permission policy, says what you can do once you're inside. Sarah might say, "You can organize my photos and use my computer, but you can't touch my jewelry box." In AWS, these are attached using the AWS attach role policy commands. Both permission slips have to say yes for anything to work. If Sarah trusts you, trust policy allows, but doesn't give you permission to use her computer, permission policy denies. You can get into the apartment, but the computer won't work for you. In simple terms, the trust policy is like a guest list at a fancy party. The host or role owner decides who gets invited and under what conditions. For example, Sarah might say, "I trust Alex to access my apartment, but only if he brings the secret password BlueCat123 and only if he's coming from his home address." This creates multiple layers of security. It's not enough that you're Alex, you also need to know the password and be in the right location. In real AWS terms, the trust policy might require a special ID code, or that you're accessing from your company's office, or that you've logged in with two-factor authentication. Think of it as Sarah being extra careful about who she trusts with her apartment keys. Permission policy in simple terms. If the trust policy is about who can enter, the permission policy is about what they can do once inside. Imagine Sarah gives you access to her apartment, but with specific rules written on a note. You can use the kitchen and living room. You can read my books, but you cannot go into my bedroom or open my personal mail. That's exactly what a permission policy does. It's a detailed list of what actions you're allowed to perform and what resources you can access. You might be allowed to read files in certain folders but not delete them. Or you can create new things but not modify existing ones. The permission policy spells out exactly what's okay and what's not. This way, even if someone gets temporary access, they can only do what the owner specifically allowed. Getting your temporary pass, the API call. Getting your temporary pass is like filling out a form at the security office. You need to provide specific information. Hi security office, I'd like a temporary pass please. I want access to Sarah's apartment, the role name. My name is Alex, session name. Sarah told me the password is BlueCat123, external ID. I need it for 2 hours please. The security office checks everything. Is Alex on Sarah's approved list? Did he provide the right password? Does he need access for a reasonable amount of time? If everything checks out, they print you a temporary badge with your photo and an expiration time. This badge has everything you need to access Sarah's apartment. In AWS, this form is an API call, and the badge is a set of temporary credentials. Your temporary credentials, the visitor badge. When the security office approves your request, they give you a special visitor badge. This badge has 3 important parts. 1. Your temporary ID number, like a badge number. 2. A secret code that proves the badge is real, like a barcode. 3. An expiration time stamped on it. Just like a visitor badge at a hospital or office building, this badge only works for a limited time. When the time runs out, the badge automatically becomes useless. The doors won't open for you anymore. You need to carry all 3 parts of this badge, the ID, secret code, and timestamp, whenever you want to access Sarah's apartment. Leave any part behind and it won't work. Step 1. Setting up the apartment, creating the role. Before anyone can visit Sarah's apartment, she needs to set it up properly. This means creating the apartment itself and deciding who's allowed to visit. Sarah goes to the building management and says, I want to create a special apartment access arrangement. I want my friend Alex from apartment 123 to be able to visit, but only if he knows the password secret word 789 feet. The building creates an official record. Sarah's apartment can be accessed by Alex from apartment 123, provided he gives the correct password. This is like creating the role in AWS. Sarah, the role owner, defines exactly who can assume her role and under what conditions. Once this is set up, the security office knows the rules. Step 2. Deciding what visitors can do or attaching permissions. Now Sarah needs to decide what her visitors can do inside her apartment. She creates a detailed list of rules. Visitors to my apartment can use the kitchen to make coffee, read books from the living room shelf, use the computer for work, water my plants. They cannot go through my personal photos, use my bedroom, change any furniture. She can choose from pre-made rule sets such as guest rules or house sitter rules, or create her own custom list. This is similar to attaching policies to the role. Sarah is defining exactly what actions the temporary visitor is allowed to perform. These rules are attached to the apartment access arrangement. The more specific Sarah is, the safer her apartment will be. Step 3. Setting up the visitor, configuring access. Meanwhile, Alex, the person who wants to visit, needs to get permission from his own building management to visit other apartments. Alex goes to his building security and says, I need permission to visit other apartments using temporary passes. Specifically, I want to be able to visit Sarah's apartment when she invites me. His building security creates a note in his file. Alex is allowed to request visitor passes to access Sarah's apartment at Building XYZ, apartment 456. This is a 2-way permission system. Sarah has to trust Alex and Alex has to have permission to visit other apartments. Both sides need to agree before anything works. It's like both parents needing to sign a permission slip for a school field trip. Step 4. Actually getting the visitor pass, making the request. Now for the exciting part. Alex actually goes to get his temporary visitor pass. He walks up to the security office with all his information ready. "Hi, I'm Alex from apartment 123. I'd like a visitor pass to Sarah's apartment. She told me the password is secret word 789. I need it for 3 hours to help her organize some files." The security officer checks their computer. Is Alex on Sarah's approved list? Did he provide the right password? Is 3 hours a reasonable amount of time? Everything checks out. The security officer prints a temporary visitor badge showing Alex's name, the apartment he can visit, what he can do there, and when the pass expires. Alex now has everything he needs to access Sarah's apartment temporarily. Step 5. Using your visitor pass, working with credentials. Alex now has his visitor pass, but how does he actually use it? There are a few different ways to do this. Method 1. He can carry the physical badge and show it every time he needs to open a door in Sarah's apartment. Method 2. He can register the badge with his smartphone app, so his phone automatically shows the right credentials when needed. The important thing is that Alex needs to keep track of when his pass expires. If he's still in Sarah's apartment when it expires, the doors will stop working for him. He might get a 3-hour pass, but decide to only stay 2 hours to be safe. Smart thinking. In AWS terms, there are different ways to use your temporary credentials, but they all work the same basic way. Visiting friends in other buildings, or cross-account access. Now let's make this more interesting. What if Alex lives in Building A, but Sarah lives in Building B across town? This is like having AWS accounts in different companies. The process is similar, but now there are 2 different building security offices involved. Alex needs permission from his building to visit other buildings, and Sarah's building needs to trust visitors from Alex's building. It's like international travel. You need a passport from your country, and the destination country needs to allow visitors from your country. This is super common in big companies where different teams have different AWS accounts for security reasons. The development team might need temporary access to the production account to fix a problem. Same concept, just with an extra layer of coordination between the 2 buildings. Setting up cross-building visits requires coordination between both buildings. Let's see how this works. Sarah in Building B tells her security team, "I want to allow visitors from Building A, specifically anyone with a developer badge from that building. They need to know the password project 2024 feet to get access." Meanwhile, Alex in Building A tells his security team, "I need permission to visit apartments in Building B when invited. Specifically, I want to visit Sarah's apartment." Now both buildings have the proper records. When Alex wants to visit, he goes to Building B's security office, shows his Building A ID, provides the password, and gets his temporary visitor pass. This creates a secure bridge between the 2 buildings while maintaining security for both sides. Staying safe. Security best practices. Just like in real life, there are smart ways to stay safe when giving people temporary access to your apartment. Always use secret passwords like external IDs, so unauthorized individuals can't pretend to be your friends. Make these passwords long and unique, not something simple like password 123. Only grant people the minimum access they need. For example, if they're just organizing photos, don't give them access to your financial documents too. Implement monitoring like security cameras, so you can see who accessed what and when. This helps you spot if something suspicious happens. Only allow access from known or trusted locations. If a user, like your friend Alex, always connects from his home network, don't allow access from random countries. Require extra layers of security, such as 2-factor authentication, for truly important assets. This is similar to requiring both a physical key and a security code. Sometimes the visitor pass system doesn't work. Here's how to figure out what went wrong in simple terms. Problem 1. Security says I'm not allowed to get a visitor pass. This means you're not on the approved visitor list, or you don't have permission to visit other apartments. Problem 2. My visitor pass doesn't work at the apartment door. This usually means the pass has expired, or you're trying to do something you don't have permission for. Problem 3. Security can't verify my identity. This might mean you provided the wrong password, or you're trying to visit from a location that's not allowed. The good news is that each problem has a clear solution once you know what's wrong. It's just a matter of checking the right things in the right order. Common problems and easy fixes. Here are some common problems people encounter, along with their fixes. First, I can't get a visitor pass. The solution is to verify that you are on the approved list and that you have permission to visit other apartments. Both conditions must be met. Second, my credentials don't work. The solution here is to ensure you are using all three required components, your ID, the secret code, and the timestamp, and that your pass has not expired. Third, I can access the apartment but can't do anything. This indicates you have successfully entered but lack the necessary permissions for the actions you are attempting. Review the specific actions you are authorized to perform. Fundamentally, most issues stem from missing permissions somewhere in the process. The key is to methodically check each stage. Can I visit? Am I considered trusted? Do I possess the correct permissions? Are my credentials still current and valid? Cool things you can do, advanced uses. Once you understand the basics, there are some cool things you can do with this visitor pass system. Chain visits. Alex gets a pass to Sarah's apartment, and Sarah's apartment has a special pass to visit Bob's apartment. Alex can use both passes to access Bob's apartment through Sarah's. Automatic visits. Some systems can automatically get visitor passes when needed, like a robot that gets a pass to water plants every day at 3 p.m. Company ID integration. Instead of individual visitor passes, your company ID badge can automatically get you temporary access to partner company buildings. Emergency access. Set up special passes that only work during emergencies, giving security teams access to fix problems quickly. Keeping track of everything, monitoring. Smart apartment building owners keep detailed records of who visits when. This is like having a security log that tracks everything. Alex visited Sarah's apartment on Monday at 2 p.m. Using visitor pass number 12,345, he accessed the computer room and file cabinet. He left at 4 p.m. when his pass expired. This logging helps you spot problems. Wait, why did someone visit my apartment at 3 a.m.? I never gave permission for that. Set up alerts for unusual activity, visits from unknown locations, failed attempts to get visitor passes, or people trying to access things they're not allowed to. Good monitoring helps you stay safe and catch problems before they become big issues. It's like having a security guard who never sleeps. Making it work faster. Performance tips. If you regularly visit the same apartment, constantly getting new visitor passes can be slow and annoying. Here are some smart tricks. Instead of getting a new pass for every single visit, keep your current one until it's almost expired. Then get a new one. If you're visiting multiple apartments, try to organize your visits efficiently. Get all your passes at once instead of making separate trips to the security office. Some buildings have express lanes for regular visitors. If you visit the same apartment every day for work, there might be a faster process. Remember that the security office can get busy. If lots of people are requesting passes at the same time, you might need to wait your turn or try again later. This visitor pass system has practical applications across various businesses. Here are some real-world examples. For instance, a software company might maintain separate environments for development, testing, and production. Developers could be granted temporary passes to address issues in production without requiring permanent access. An accounting firm could provide auditors with temporary access to client files during tax season, but strictly limited to specific clients and only during business hours. Similarly, a hospital could issue doctors temporary access to patient records when they are covering for colleagues, but solely for their assigned patients. The primary benefit is that temporary access offers greater security compared to permanent access. Users only receive the necessary access, precisely when and for the duration they require it. Wrapping up, you've got this. Congratulations, you now understand AWS AssumeRole better than many people who use it every day. Let's recap the key ideas. AssumeRole is like getting a temporary visitor pass to someone else's apartment. You can do specific things for a limited time, then the pass expires automatically. There are two types of permission: who can get the pass, trust policy, and what they can do with it, permission policy. Both have to say yes. The process is: set up the apartment, decide what visitors can do, give the visitor permission to visit, request the pass, and use it before it expires. This system keeps everyone safe while still allowing people to help each other when needed. It's like having really good security that's also convenient to use. Now you're ready to use this knowledge in the real world.